Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a personal bankruptcy attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I wanted just to address a question that I've gotten a couple of times from clients over the last few weeks. And this is about Donald Trump. Now, I'm recording this in March of 2016. We're right in the middle of the presidential election cycle. And of course, Donald Trump, at least at this point, is the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. And one of the issues that seems to be following him around a little bit is the fact that he's filed bankruptcy at least 4 times that I'm aware of. And the question is, if he's filed bankruptcy 4 times, why is he still a billionaire? Why does he have all this money and he's able to run for president? And the answer to that is that Trump's bankruptcies are not like the type of bankruptcies that you or I would file. These are corporate bankruptcies. For example, I saw where he had filed on behalf or a property he owned, the Trump Taj Mahal, a resort and casino had filed, the Trump Plaza Hotel, a couple other hotels had filed. And basically what this all means is that these are not individual bankruptcies. This was a corporation, or I assume it's a corporation or LLC or some corporate entity that Mr. Trump had created, and that entity filed bankruptcy. But more importantly, Trump was able to avoid any personal liability when he formed those corporations. And basically, unlike you or me, if we went into the bank, for example, to buy a house or a car, they're going to ask for a personal guarantee. So if you don't pay for that car, you don't pay for that house, you are personally liable. But when you're dealing with properties of worth millions and millions of dollars, and the bank stands to make millions and millions of dollars of profit, then many times they will allow a developer to put the loans from the bank into a corporate name only, or they can set it up where after a certain period of time the personal guarantee goes away. And what that means is that the corporation may be liable for the debt, but if the corporation can't pay it, the bank can sue a broke corporation. Corporation's got no money, but they're not going to get anything. But meanwhile, the principal, the owner, in this case Donald Trump, was able to essentially walk away from the whole thing, and the banks were left fighting over whatever's left over with other creditors. So there may be trade vendors, there may be other real estate loans, there may be taxes, any number of things. And when this property is sold at auction, then you're going to have people fighting over it, and that could take years and years and years. But in the meantime, the owner, the original owner, the developer, Donald Trump, basically walks away. Now, this may seem unfair. This may seem crazy to a person who's like, well, I've got personal guarantees for everything. But realize that bankruptcy, both in a corporate sense and in a personal sense, is sort of a necessary evil, if you will, of capitalism. Because if you don't have bankruptcy, then you have basically people who are never going to be able to start over. If they have a failure, they're basically done. And for example, in the personal sphere, if you file bankruptcy, you'll be able to rebuild your credit within 4 or 5 years, buy a house, maybe even sooner, maybe within a year or two, buy a house, buy a car. So bankruptcy is a way that obviously it's going to hurt creditors to a certain degree, but they build the cost of bankruptcy into the loans, the price of loans that they make. And it allows people to fail and start over again. And again, if you're an entrepreneur, that's a very attractive proposition, that you can try to make something work. If it's successful, you'll make money, you'll create jobs, you'll contribute to the tax base. But if it's not successful, you will not be forever doomed to a life of having to try to pay back old debts that you'll never get rid of. So it's basically an engine to a certain degree of our economic system. And again, a fellow like Donald Trump, who's got lots and lots of money and who is able to basically offer to the banks an opportunity to make a lot of money, he was able to use the bankruptcy process to try a business. Perhaps it worked for a while. When it failed, he was able to get rid of that, move on to something else. And of course, now he's moving on to political candidacy. So in any case, that's why a person like Donald Trump can file bankruptcy, not owe any money when it's all over, and proceed to run for the presidency of the United States. So that's just a question I've got, and I thought you might find it interesting. And again, it just shows that bankruptcy doesn't always work the same for everybody depending on what they own. I hope this is helpful. If you found it useful and interesting, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and a like on Facebook. If I can answer any questions for you about personal bankruptcy, the kind that a normal person would file, please let me know. Thanks a lot.